Our YouTubers are back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy VII. We're here with a bit of a different video, something we don't normally make videos on, but I did think this was kind of cool. So, back earlier this year, in January, we got to vote on 4 different scenes from Final Fantasy VII that Square Enix or whoever was going to recreate with Legos. And eventually one of these would be picked, and they would recreate them, and then they'd give them away. Now, these, of course, were the Promise Scene, the Sector 5 Church, Aerith's House, and the Honeybee Inn. I do remember I was talking about this on YouTube back then. I definitely would have put it into a video. We didn't do a dedicated video about it, but it would have been at the beginning of a video before we got into the main topic, or a kind of an info news roundup kind of video, something along those lines. I'm pretty sure I voted for the Promise Scene as well, but I mean, any of these would have been cool to see recreated with Lego, so it didn't really matter which one won to me. And I remember a lot of people, at least mutuals on Twitter and stuff like that, were wanting the Promise Scene as well, but that's not actually what won. It turns out that the Sector 5 church is actually what won, which I think looks pretty cool. It's not the full church, which is a little bit disappointing. It's just almost bisected. You're just getting half the church, essentially. But I still think it looks great. The main reason why we're talking about this is because you can win this. You simply have to just follow the Remake English Twitter account and like and retweet the tweet. It is that simple. You obviously got to reside in certain countries, which we'll look at in just a second, so you guys can know if you're eligible for this. But yeah, it's a very simple thing. It's a giveaway, so it's pretty awesome that you can win this. That's the main reason why we're doing this video, but we're also going to discuss some stuff here. So in order to be eligible for this, you have to reside in either the 50 states of the United States of America, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico, Canada, excluding Quebec, the United Kingdom, excluding the British Overseas Territories, Germany, France, excluding Overseas France, Sweden, Austria, Spain, and Norway. Obviously, you also got to be 18 years of age, the kind of standard shit with any sort of giveaways. But for any of you guys that may live in those other countries and shit, why are specific aspects of those countries or areas barred from this? For example, why is Canada eligible but specifically not Quebec? I don't know why that would be. I have no idea because there's oddly enough a bit of discourse with this. For starters, a little bit from the shipping community. Obviously, people that are Team Clarith are super excited because it's a Cloud and Aerith scene that's being recreated. People were wanting the Promise Scene because, Clody fans, etc., etc. So there's people that are, going with that discussion, which is whatever, get it out of here. There's also people that think it, looks bad, and, I mean, it's fucking made of Legos. What do you expect? What are you expecting from this? It's different if they were trying to recreate it, life-size, make this gigantic fucking Lego thing to make it look, realistic, right? But it's probably, this big, right? It's not very big. It's fucking tiny. And I think given that, it looks pretty damn good. If we just do a quick little side-by-side, you can see that the detail's pretty good, man, right? From a distance, it looks like Cloud and Aerith. You see the flower bed. But even just, the placement of, the piano in that back corner and the specific pews that are up against, the wall and shit, the detail's pretty fucking good. Yeah, obviously, if you get right up on it, it doesn't look amazing. I still think the detail's pretty good up close, though. But it's looking at something that's a masterpiece in Minecraft and then zooming in on it and being this looks like shit. Yeah, it's made out of fucking blocks. Of course it doesn't look exactly like Cloud and Aerith. What the fuck? It's also not an official Lego product, right? It's not Square Enix collabed with Lego to make this Final Fantasy VII thing. They're just taking Legos and recreating shit from Final Fantasy VII, right? Obviously, they did an official thing with Lego. There'd be higher quality pieces, more detailed pieces. You'd probably have a Lego Cloud face and a Lego Aerith face and shit like that. But it's not that. They're just doing this with random Legos. So I think it's pretty damn good. Oddly enough, however, through all of this, there's actually something else to talk about because of this specific thing that was chosen. If any other of the other scenes were picked, this would kind of be the end of the video here, more or less. But because it's the church, the cross. We're here to talk about the goddamn cross again. And it's, again, missing, right? Something we've been talking about for a while. With Remake, Ever Crisis, First Soldier, Crisis Core Reunion, we have that stone cross, right, that we talked about a fuck ton of times. And then at the end of episode intermission, we had the Zack scene where it goes in the church and you see the wooden cross. The wooden cross that's always been there prior to Remake. FF7 all the way up to whatever was the last thing to come out before fucking Remake. We've always had a wooden cross in Aerith's church, right? In Sector 5 church. And it's only Remake and the shit that's come out afterwards where the cross has been missing. But now when you look at this Lego recreation of the shit, the cross isn't there again. So as you can see right here with the cross, the half of the cross that we get anyways, it's using the same colored blocks as some of the surrounding Lego blocks, right? So it's meant to be blending in with those. Similar to what we did with Remake, right? It's a stone cross or whatever you want to call it in Remake, and it's the same kind of bricks, the same colored bricks as the surrounding ones on the wall. Whereas if it was meant to be the wooden cross, it'd be brown Legos. Now to be perfectly clear, I'm not putting a bunch of stock into this goddamn Lego recreation of the Sector 5 church. But I've always said that I think the cross missing matters. That's been the whole part of this discussion for the last couple of years now on this goddamn channel. And here we have them like doing an official like Square Enix like remake recreation with Legos, and they made sure the cross is missing again, right? Now the discussion's always been, or the argument's always been, that it's like a dev era sort of thing where it's like there's a team that does like the high quality cinematics, which is where the exact scene happens with the wooden cross. There's a completely different team who does the in-game models, and somewhere along the way like shit messed up, I guess. Though nobody's ever actually explained what they mean by that, as in like what's the error, right? I'm assuming it's the cross being there was the problem, because it can't be the cross missing that is like the fuck up, because they've done this again over the last couple years, in the last like 3.5 years or so. They've done this for like 4 different games at least, right? And now a goddamn Lego recreation of this shit. So like it's got to be. I'm assuming the cross was not supposed to be there for the Zack scene, but I still like that seems like a reach to me. Like, why can't the cross being there be intentional? Like, why is that so far-fetched to people? I just don't understand that. Especially since we're talking about the possibility of multiple timelines, right? Alternate change timelines. Like, why is the only effect of that Zack living in a different fucking stamp logo? That's it. Like, the cross being there can't be a part of the change timeline. Like, is that such an impossibility to you? It's so weird to me. Also, when we've talked about the possibility of there being like multiple Midgars and maybe even like OG FF7 Midgar and remakes Midgar, and if it's possible that like maybe Terror Timeline is OG FF7's timeline and or modeled after that, and that could explain the wooden cross, because the wooden cross is supposed to be there based on the entire compilation outside of remake and shit, right? So I don't know. I know we're going on a tangent here, but we haven't talked about the cross in a while, and it felt good to talk about it again. Like I said, if we couldn't do this discussion if this was like any other Lego recreation of the other shit, there'd be just nothing to talk about. But we actually got something from this. Like, every time I see the cross missing, I'm going to point it out. It's a big part of this channel. It's a lot of our discussions have been about the ending to like remake and episode intermission, and the cross has been a big part of the channel. We've done some of my more popular videos probably have involved discussing the cross, because it's such an interesting topic. So every time I see it missing, we're going to fucking talk about it. That's more or less the video, though, my dudes. It's actually ended up being a longer video than I expected. We got more out of this topic than I was expecting, so I definitely feel like this was worth discussing. It's a cool recreation. Obviously, like I said, some people are dunking on it, but like, whatever, dude. I think it looks pretty fucking cool. I would love to win this, to be honest. And if you yourself would like to win it, you simply just need to follow the Twitter account, or I guess it's called X. We haven't addressed that in a YouTube video yet, but like, it's going to be called Twitter. I'm literally forever, until the end of time, or the app crumbles and no longer is a site to use anymore. I'm going to call it Twitter. I'm going to call it tweets. I'm going to call it retweets, not reposts. I don't give a shit. It's called Twitter. I'm going to continue saying, follow me on Twitter at the end of my fucking videos and shit, right? It's never changing. But, yes, just follow them on Twitter and just retweet. Like and retweet the tweet if you want a chance at winning this damn thing. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DavidYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.